Okay, I'm going to try not to be in the way of the screen. Hi, everyone. So my name is Lauraine Meyer. This is my first time talking about my work in front of a crowd, so please be indulgent. I also have voice problems, so I hope it's not going to disappear. So, as you can see here, I am a food art director, an illustrator, and an author. As you can hear it maybe, I'm also French. I come from Paris, and I moved to the Netherlands 7 years ago. And often people ask me why I moved to the Netherlands from Paris. That sounds weird for me, but people find it odd. And I came just because I like Amsterdam. I didn't come for love or drugs or anything else. So yeah, that's me. Today, I want to talk about all those words. So failing, food, creative journey, burnout, illustration, feminism, motherhood, and dreams. Are you up for it? Yes. Okay, let's start with food art direction. I did my studies in Paris in an art school. I studied illustration and graphic design at Estienne, that's the name of the school. And I worked in the advertising industry for the last 14 years as an art director. But 9 years ago, I discovered working with food. And I discovered that it's an amazing creative medium. It's very colorful, it's playful, it's delicious. And obviously, we all need it to survive. So I really loved it. And what I loved especially was going on photo shoots, working with food stylists and food photographers. So I decided to call myself a food art director. What I really like to do in my work is summarizing a story or a complicating idea in one image. One image is better than 100 words, they say. And if you had colors and a touch of humor, then you got my style. When I moved to the Netherlands, I started working for Unilever, the big building just over there. It's been 5 years. Obviously, it was a little less fun and more corporate than what I did before. But still, I loved playing with food. I worked for many, many different brands, very exciting. But as you maybe know, that's a very challenging industry. And it was really hard, or it is really hard, to keep my style. And very often I failed. So I just wanted to show you a little example of how it fails sometimes. On the left, you have the concept I was working on, which is not rocket science, not a crazy concept, but still, I thought it was nice. And on the right, you have the result after all the back and forth with the client. So often when we're creative, we show our best pieces. And I think it's really important to remind everybody that in the end, only 10% of what we do is actually nice and portfolio piece. So yeah, we're all in the same boat. Or maybe you don't, but lucky you. I also wanted to share with you one of my favorite projects. That's for Carte d'Or. So Carte d'Or is ice cream. And for this one, I had the opportunity to work directly with the chef and the food stylist, and we got to come up together with a series of desserts. So we talked food, ingredients, taste, and I was talking design. So when we were talking, I was sketching. And later on, as you can see, the result is exactly like my drawing, and that's something that made me so happy. Very satisfying. But that's only one part of what I do. What I want to do today with you is also talk about my creative journey with illustration. I don't know about you, but I have more than one passion and also more than one way of making money. Do you have that too? Yeah? When I was a little kid, I wanted to become an illustrator. I loved drawing, I loved telling stories, and I thought, okay, that's my only talent. I need to do something with that. Yeah, that's proof. Yeah, in 1999, I was 15 years old. That was a drawing I've made illustrating a song that I really love about, it's called Karine Redinger by Laurent Voulzy for the French speaker. And yeah, as you can see, I practiced a lot. My style evolved. I went to art school and I had to cover hundreds and hundreds of sketchbooks. Every holiday, we had to come up with a new sketchbook full of illustrations. So that became really a habit for me to draw everywhere and draw also from what I see. So that's in Elba Island, that's in Barcelona. So that became really part of my practice. Over the years, my style really evolved. As you can see, I was changing style every 2 weeks, I think. But yeah, I was drawing a lot and searching for my own way of working. I worked for 16 fanzines, 3 different blogs. I had 1 MySpace. I had 4 Behance, 1 Cargo Collective, 2 websites, 1 Twitter, and 3 Instagram accounts. Yeah. Over the years, I became a freelance illustrator next to my day job, art direction. I worked for magazines and publishers and brands, and I did a lot of personal projects that stayed personal, unfortunately, because I don't know how to finish projects. I don't know if you have this problem too, but if I don't have a deadline, I don't finish the project. I have no patience, but many, many great ideas. So I start, it lasts a few days, and then I just quit. But in 2016, I discovered the Inktober challenge. Who took the Inktober challenge in the room? 1, 2, only 2? 3, 4, okay. For the other people, I'm going to explain what is Inktober. Inktober is like a illustration challenge that takes place on Instagram. And every month of October, there is a prompt list of like 31 words, so 1 per day. And they invite people to illustrate 1 word a day. What I liked about this challenge is that there is a beginning and an end, and then the project is over. So that's completed. The first Inktober challenge that I took, I just illustrated the words depending on the mood of the day, like no pressure, really following my mood, and that's it. In 2018, I was reading this book, Ainsi soit-elle, which means as she is, by Benoît Groult. Benoît Groult is a lady here, and she's a very famous feminist French lady. And that was the first feminist book I've ever read. I didn't call myself a feminist before that, but that book really enlightened me. And I was so passionate about this topic that I really wanted to share my discovery with everyone. And everyone is my 200 friends on Instagram. So I decided to take the challenge that year and link every word to a feminist topic. I decided also to bring a bit of a style, so I picked 3 colors and just like 1 tool or 2 tools, actually, like those ink pen, and just like a little black pen, and I linked every word to 1 drawing. And as you can see, as I was talking about, 1 word, 1 image is better than 100 words. And that's also what I did here. So really summarizing a very complicated idea. Like before, for example, the clock, I linked it to the idea of like this internal clock that women are supposed to have to get a baby. Or message in the bottle, the word was bottle, and I was thinking, okay, what is message in the bottle? Maybe we can talk about domestic violence and how women are like trapped in their relationship sometimes, and they just want to find a way to reach people outside of that bubble and like say help. Some were really difficult, like precious, for example. And I thought, okay, what is precious? Precious virginity is really like depicted as precious, something you should not give to anyone but your husband the day you marry in some cultures. So yeah, I had fun with that, really played around, and at the end of the month, I had 30 illustrations. For every topic, I got more and more excited. And as you can see on the right, I was writing more and more copy. I would quote books or articles that I found online. And in the end, I would have a bit of a text. I received really nice feedbacks from my followers and friends, which like really encouraged me to take another step with this project. So first project completed, second project, let's make cards. So I've made a set of cards. As you can see, that's the front, and then on the back, there is like a little bit of text. And then I sold them on markets, little things like that. And it was quite successful. Like people were engaging with me, chatting with me. And I was like, wow, okay, that's really something I'm passionate about. A lot of people are passionate about it. They want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. So that's great. Sorry, I don't have the cards today. I forgot everything. So I thought, why not make a book? And it sounded like really a crazy idea first, but I had the illustrations, I had the text. I just had to put it together. And because I'm a graphic designer, I can make a nice layout, and I can use colors, I can use fonts. So I was like, okay, that's not that crazy, actually. That's just one step further. So in 2019, I spent the year, or my free time on that year, to put together this little book. It's just a graphic book with a few illustrations, a bit of text, and I decided to self-publish it. The goal of this book was to deconstruct stereotypes rooted in our society and help open the eyes of people on sexism. So as you can read, feminists are still often depicted as angry, hairy, aggressive, lesbian, or worse, single. And for sure, they hate all men. So that's the common things that you hear about feminists. And I really wanted to tackle every single topic and like take the most common stereotypes from that and like destroy it. I covered 29 topics within 8 different sections. So I was like talking about feminism, sexism, gender, relationships, the body, sexuality, maternity. And the last chapter, I called it Don't Give Up the Fight. And it's about what we can do to go further. Like, okay, this is like kind of a picture of feminism over the years, feminism today, but what's next? Like, what can we do to go further? So I talked about sorority, education, women's empowerment, inclusive writing, because in French everything is male, and ecofeminism. And then I added more, but yeah. Here's a bit of the structure of the book. So every section, like here, it's about the body. I would have a little catchy phrase at the beginning. And then every chapter would start with one stereotype. So here they say, girl, it's disgusting, the hair on your legs. Why don't you shave? And who is talking? People who are afraid it's going to scratch? And then on the right page, it would be like the response, or the feminist response to it. And here, yeah, with a little punchline. Then we would have a little text with a nice pattern. Had a lot of fun making all those patterns, as you can imagine. And some references to go further, to explore by yourself. So that was just like a little introduction. And then you do the work if you want. I sold these 100 copies to my friends and family. But my goal was to get published for real. I wanted my book in the bookstore. Yeah, spoiler alert, it's a lot of work. In 2020, everybody was stuck at home for COVID. I got pregnant. I sent 100 emails to every publisher I could find in every single country I could find. And I got a lot of no's. But in 2021, I finally got in touch with a French publisher called Casterman. And they said, yes, we want to do it, but it has to be a graphic novel. So I was pregnant. I was about to go on maternity leave. And I said, yes, of course, yes, I want to do it, because that's really my dream. Here's my baby. So I gave birth. And during my maternity leave, I started sketching. I covered a whole notebook with the storyboard. I started working with my publisher back and forth, sending drawings, getting feedbacks, sending other drawings. Actually, she was pretty nice, and she was like really confident, so didn't have a lot of feedbacks, actually. And then when my maternity leave ended, I took 6 more months of work to keep working on it. As you can see, I was breastfeeding, taking care of my baby. Well, she went to daycare 3 days a week. But yeah, I was discovering, becoming a mom, becoming a feminist, making a book. And that was fascinating, because maternity is like a whole new world for women. And men too. And that was a part of my book as well, of course. That was a very hot topic in my book, what society does to mom and parents. So that's my little set. So finally, after a lot of hard work, a wonderful partner that took care of our baby, of the house, of me, and despite a really painful tennis elbow, I managed to complete 248 pages of a graphic novel, and I finished in time for the deadline in January 2022. I don't have the book, sorry. Sorry about that. But the book came in the fucking bookstore. Thank you. That was the first day I got it here in Amsterdam, here in Rotterdam, sorry, in front of the tower, going to work. I made a little video, so you have still an idea of what it is. So as you can see, just like the pages of text, I changed them into drawings, basically. Very explicative, kept the same colors, the same font, the same style. Just added so many pages. I really tried to keep it fun and easy to read, and also very inclusive for men, because it's really important that men read about feminism too. So I've made it like as inclusive as possible for everybody, and yeah. In February 2022, I had to go back to work. And in May 2022, the book came out. So I started going on book tour. I started going to festivals, to signing. I got interviews. I was living the fucking dream. That was like my life goal. I was so happy. But I had still a baby, a 1-year-old. I had still a almost full-time job. I had still a house. Still a lot of things to take care of. Yeah, how did I manage? I didn't. It was really a crazy year. I was going through an identity crisis. I had to go back to work, and to be honest, it was really weird, really, really weird. I was completely disconnected from this reality. Work was completely disconnected from my new reality, from my values. I was tired. I started having panic attacks. And I finally went on burnout in July 2022. Yeah. I just want to precise that it's not only because I had a crazy year that I went on burnout, because 3 of my colleagues who didn't have a child who didn't release a book that year, also went on burnout right after me. So that was really work-related. So what now? 6 months passed. I spent 6 months taking care of myself. Now I'm feeling better. I have way more energy. I'm still very passionate about feminism, about illustration, about food art direction. I have a question for myself for 2023 is how to be aligned with my work, with my family life, and with my personal life and personal goals. I still don't want to give up. So I want to do more books. I want to do more illustrations. I want to do more food art direction, but better. I want to respect my values. I want to respect my energy, how I feel. I want to respect my time, my pace. I'm starting working on a new graphic novel, still about feminism. And I'm back to step 1 in the full process, so that's another story. Yeah, I also want to get Feminist in Progress, so this book, published in English, translated, because now it's only in French. So if any of you know someone that can help, I'm really happy to hear about it. Thank you so much for